The instructor shouted, "Hey, that's sleepy brats. Yes, you. Come here and do the practical combat training." Cao Yuan walked onto the stage with a confused look on his face. He wondered why the instructor was so excited. "I have led so many recruits, and you are the most disrespectful. Some of you who even peeked at the female soldiers during class. I must deal with your bad habits today." Then he threw a wooden sword at Cao Yuan. Cao Yuan was stunned for a moment when he looked at the sword. Then he said, "Sorry, instructor. I can't touch any sword, not even a wooden one. I'm afraid I can't control myself and kill you." Hearing this, the instructor was so angry that he trembled. "You little brat, do you look down on me? I order you to pick it up." Don't underestimate any instructor. After hearing this, Cao Yuan bent down helplessly to pick up the knife. The moment he took the knife, a murderous aura surged from his body. The instructor was also shocked by the scene. Then Cao Yuan looked at the instructor with red eyes and excitement. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared from the spot, rushed towards the instructor. Fortunately, the instructor reacted quickly and avoided the attack. But it was obvious that this attack frightened the instructor, and Cao Yuan also took advantage of the situation to strike back. The instructor hurriedly resisted, but Cao Yuan's attack was too fierce, and he cut the wooden sword in one go. The instructor flew backwards. The slash caused a strong wind to blow across the training ground. Instructor Han steadied himself and held his saber in his hand. He shouted that all recruits should disperse and evacuate immediately. Remember, this is not acting. This is a real fight. The next second, Cao Yuan attacked again. But even if the instructor changed to a real sword, he was still chopped back by Cao Yuan's wooden sword. The instructor was knocked to the ground in just 2.5 seconds. At this moment, the crazy Cao Yuan walked towards the surrounding recruits while grinning foolishly. The instructor felt nervous when he saw where he was going. "I am afraid something is going to happen." The instructor threw the knife in his hand directly at Cao Yuan, but he blocked it with one hand. Cao Yuan was instantly attracted to the instructor again, so he swung the knife at the instructor. At this critical moment, Pang Pang appeared in front of the instructor. The attack was blocked only after the artifact was deployed. Seeing this, the instructor said anxiously, "Didn't I tell you to evacuate? Why did you come here? It's too dangerous here." While speaking, the knife was about to break the Yaguang shield. Suddenly, Lin appeared and kicked Cao Yuan away. The three looked at Cao Yuan, who was still in a state of madness, and felt helpless. At this time, Lin said, "Pang Pang, give me a knife. Otherwise, I can beat him." Then Pang Pang searched in his trouser pockets. He found a small knife called wound stab. Before Pang Pang could explain, Lin hurriedly took the knife to chop Cao Yuan. In just 2 seconds, the two were chopped out with several after images. At this time, Lin found that the blade was inexplicably emitting energy fluctuations. The next second, a violent explosion suddenly broke out. Seeing this, the instructor began to doubt his life. He said, "Isn't your power too strong?" Pang Pang explained awkwardly, "This knife will store the impact force and then release it in the form of an explosion." At this moment, Lin was a little embarrassed. The explosion was so sudden that it broke several of his ribs. The smoke cleared and Cao Yuan rushed towards him excitedly with the sword in his hand. At this point, Lin knew that he could not escape. Instantly, a magnificent golden light burst out from his body. Cao was immediately controlled by Lin's divine power. Even Lin didn't expect the divine power to be so effective. Lin then said to Pang Pang, "Give me something that can seal the forbidden realm quickly." After searching for a while, Pang Pang took out a forbidden item called the Forbidden Scroll. Lin tore open the Forbidden Scroll and flew towards Cao Yuan. Instantly, Cao Yuan's head was completely entangled by the Forbidden Scroll. Instantly, he fell to the ground weakly. Yuan Gang felt helpless when he saw this scene. How did it become like this again? Are these new recruits a demolition team? At this time, the instructor just passed by on a stretcher. He said, "Sorry, Chief. You told me that this batch of new recruits is not simple. At first, I didn't take it seriously. But now, because of my carelessness, I almost caused a teaching accident. I am willing to accept any punishment." Yuan Gang held his hand after hearing this. He sighed and said, "It's not your fault today. You didn't see a few days ago how outrageous the contempt of this group of recruits and the masked team was. This incident made Yuan Gang understand the conventional training methods may not satisfy these new recruits. We need to give them some challenges. We need to give them some tough work." After seeing Yuan Gang say this, the subordinates behind him asked the leader tentatively, "Are you going to use that sighing journey?" Yuan Gang clenched his fists excitedly. Yes, it's time to teach these new recruits a lesson. This man is the most brutal new recruit. He scared the hell out of the instructor with just one look. But he was willing to be Lin's follower. Lin just accepted the steamed buns that he handed over. He would be happy all day long. All this is because he carries the debt of hundreds of innocent people's lives. In order to atone for this heinous sin, Cao Yuan went to Mount Duhua to chant Buddhist scriptures and study for 7 years. But all this was still not enough. Master Jinshin said that only one person could help him eliminate his sins and achieve perfect merit. But Master Jinshin did not say who it was. He only left for sentences puzzles. This person stands on 2 trees, missing one of 8 spirits, lost at night for 10 years, and will rescue mortals in the world. After Cao's observations over the past few days, it was discovered that only Lin matched the content of these poems. That's why he became Lin's follower. After hearing Cao Yuan's information, Lin was very confused. How could this Master Jinshin reveal his information so accurately? But after thinking for a while, he stopped thinking about it. Lin picked up the steamed buns. While eating, he said, "Forget it. It's up to you. Anyway, I don't know how to get rid of disasters and calamities, and I can't make any guarantees for you." Suddenly, the radio sounded, and Yuan Gang's voice echoed throughout the cafeteria. "Attention everyone, you still have 10 minutes to eat. All recruits gather in 10 minutes to go out for special training." Pang Pang's eyes lit up after hearing the broadcast. "Lin, we can leave the camp now." "That's good. We can finally go out for a walk." "I don't think it's a good thing. The fact that we can leave the camp means that the facilities here can no longer meet the conditions for special training." Hearing what Lin said, Pang Pang was speechless and didn't know what to say. And the place they came to was Jinan Mountain. Lin also gave them some popular science. This Jinan Mountain is a wild mountain in the suburbs of Gangneung City. It is not very famous, and few people come here all year round. Cao Yuan looked at the mountain and murmured, "This mountain is at most less than 4 kilometers high, and it doesn't cover a large area. The difficulty of special training here is not at all high." Suddenly, Yuan Gang's voice interrupted everyone's thoughts. "Did all the teammates see the mountain range behind me? Each of you will be equipped with a 35 kilograms weight later. The goal of this special training is very simple. That is to cross this mountain range before dawn tomorrow." Report. Suddenly a hand reached out from the crowd. Jasmine said, "Is it just a normal cross-country race? Yuan Gang spoke calmly in response to Jasmine's question. Don't worry, this off-road load is not as simple as you think. Do you see the drone above? The drone is equipped with a machine gun, but the gun is loaded with electric shock bullets. The weights on your body have a built-in positioning function. After the training begins, these drones will enter the mountains to chase you. If you are hit by a bullet, it means failure. And the punishment for failure will make you unforgettable for life. There are 3 more rules that I want to emphasize. First, you cannot abandon your load without permission. Second, you cannot touch the drone in any way. Third, you cannot attack each other. Anyone who violates any of these rules will be deemed to have failed directly. You can now enter the mountains. I declare the special training to begin. At the same time, somewhere in Jinnan Mountain, a man in black was half crouching on the ground. He opened a red umbrella. Bundles of energy circles emanated from the umbrella. After arranging these, the man in black smiled. Now no one can leave Jinnan Mountain. At this moment, Pang Pang, who had just entered the mountain, had collapsed to the ground due to exhaustion. Wait for me, I really can't do it anymore. Cao Yuan looked at him with contempt. Don't you have a lot of props? Why don't you just take out a small gadget? Pang Pang got angry when he heard this. It was because I saved you yesterday that Instructor Hans found out about me. Before entering the mountain, he took away my free space storage items. Speaking of this, Pang Pang raised his doubts. Whether in training or here, the instructors have always been driving the forbidden realm that can suppress the restricted areas. Then why were you still controlled by the forbidden realm yesterday? Cao Yuan, Lin guessed that forbidden areas can probably only suppress ordinary forbidden areas, like my mortal god realm and Cao Yuan's Black King Flash realm. They can still be released. Cao Yuan suddenly realized what was going on. So you've been using the forbidden realm all along? The fat guy next to him said with disdain. No wonder I saw you training like you were playing. So you've been using the forbidden realm to cheat all along. Suddenly, Cao Yuan made a gesture to keep quiet. A drone was seen hovering over the 3 people's heads. Soon they found out. The drone's target was not them, but the new recruits hiding in the bushes ahead. Even though the recruit tried his best to dodge, he was still quickly hit by the electric stun bomb. The next second, everyone saw a mechanical arm stretched out and took the unconscious recruit away. Seeing this, Fatty sighed. It feels good that we were eliminated. Who cares what the punishment is? I think the biggest punishment is to run around in the mountains hiding from drones for a whole day. At the same time, there was a conversation in the other tent. The sound system is fine. You can start now. Yuan Gang sat on the chair and said calmly, then let's start the punishment. I heard voices coming from the device. Pang Pang was confused and wondered what was going on. The captured recruit was answering questions with a stupid look on his face. My name is Wang Liang. I am 24 years old, 174 centimeters tall, 92 kilograms in weight, and 2.5 centimeters in length. After listening, the instructor asked again, do you have someone you like? Wang Liang replied with an infatuated look. I have never been in love before, but I've liked the older sister upstairs for a long time. She is really beautiful. I dream about her every night. The instructor asked jokingly, what do you dream about her doing every night? I dreamed that she stepped on my face with her high heels. Then she whipped me with a whip. These are my favorites. After hearing Wang Liang's little secret, all the new recruits They were all trying their best to control their smiles for fear of being discovered by the drones. Lin guessed. The instructor must have used some kind of forbidden substance to make people tell the truth. Just then a big hand patted Lin on the shoulder. Pang looked serious and said coldly, "Lin, you must promise me one thing. If I get hit, please kill me right away." A man is usually a fearless leader. But today, he was really scared. Because he found out that the person his younger brother Li Liang liked was actually him. It was the kind of love that could sacrifice his life. It turns out that all this happened because Li Liang was always bullied when he was a child. He was bullied every day. Later, Li Liang's senior, Shen Xingju, couldn't stand it anymore. Shen alone beat more than a dozen hooligans into the hospital. He was expelled from school because of this incident. Later, he had to go home to the farm. Since then, Li Liang swore that he would follow Shen Xingju for the rest of his life. Although Shen Xingju has a bad temper, but after getting to know him for a long time, Li Liang found that he is actually the most gentle person in the world. Sometimes Li Liang would like Shen Xingju to be stricter with him, such as whipping him with a whip. Hearing this, Lin and the others laughed out loud, even if they covered their mouths. Shen Xingju couldn't hold himself any longer at this time. Jump out and give 3 people a kick. You 3 are enough. We've been laughing since the beginning. Damn, it was obviously that boy who was punished. Why is it I am the one who died socially? Suddenly, Lin kicked Shen away. It turns out that Pang discovered a drone. If it weren't for Lin's kick, Shen is about to be eliminated. At this time, Pang reminded me, this drone reloads very quickly. Let's run away quickly. After hearing this, Lin looked at Shen Xingju and said, "Let's go separately." The probability of being caught is only half. You should treat your friends well. They're all sincere to you. Shen heard that Lin Yuan educated him. He suddenly lost his temper. He immediately called Deng Wei behind him and left together. And he kept talking. When I was fighting Mask, I saw that guy was unhappy. Isn't he just an agent of God? What are you pretending to be? Waiting for this time, I will be the first to go out and let you know who is the strongest. But suddenly Deng Wei accidentally tripped over a stone. The whole person collapsed heavily on the ground. He gasped for air and trembled all over. He said, "Brother Shen, I really can't do it anymore. You should go alone." Seeing his condition, Shen Xingju hurriedly stepped forward to care about his injuries. Deng Wei said that his sprained foot just now is getting worse and worse. He can't move anymore. While the two were talking, 2 drones had locked onto their locations. Seeing that Shen is still reluctant to leave, Deng advised Brother Shen to leave me alone. You are the one who wants to do great things. This time I must show them the first one. Hearing this, Shen looked serious and had no words. Then Shen stood up and left. Deng Wei, who was left behind, continued to cheer Shen up. At this moment, Shen kept telling himself in his heart, if you want to be strong, you must be ruthless. And he must be the first one to go out. Let everyone know how strong he is. Seeing the drone so close at hand, Deng had already given up resistance. Come and eliminate me. I just feel wronged by Brother Shen. He will hear some strange questions later. Look at the light coming towards him. He closed his eyes resignedly. But just then a figure appeared. help him block the attack. Dang Incredible looked at Shen and said, "Brother Shen, the rules say you can't take off the weights." Hearing this, Shen looked disdainful of rules. A truly strong person is never bound by any rules. As he spoke, he threw the stone in his hand at the drone. The drone blew itself up in the next lesson. Shendan smiled and said that the rules also said that drones are not allowed to be used. But I want to fight. Then he reached out to Dang Wei and threw away the trash. "Can you still stand up? Brother Shen is here to save you." Dang Wei looked at him and froze on the spot. He has a lot of emotions in his heart, but doesn't know how to express them. Brother Shen once again gave up his future for trash like them. At the same time, the instructor also learned about the destruction of the drones. So I immediately moved out the electric shock missile. Under Yuan Gang's order, all the missiles headed towards Shen's direction. Did Shen feel speechless when he saw this? These instructors are really good at keeping things together. Suddenly, he looked ecstatic. These missiles require oxygen in the air for propulsion. I just need to use my forbidden realm to vacuum up all the air around me. These missiles are just scrap metal. Just before the missile was approaching, suddenly Dang called out to Brother Shen from behind. "Did you forget that you can't use the forbidden realm now?" Hearing this, Chen was stunned. The next second, they were blown away. After the smoke dissipated, only the hooks and locks were seen grabbing the unconscious two people and walking away. 10 minutes later, the instructor looked at the unconscious Shen and said, "It's not easy to catch you. You troublemaker. You wasted a whole group of our missiles. Tell me how you dare to break the rules and blow up the drones." Under the influence of the truth ring, Shen Lao apologized honestly. "I am sorry I got too arrogant." Just when the instructor was about to find some difficult problems to punish Shen Qingju, suddenly, Instructor Han ran in. The punishment was suspended for an emergency. Han instructor said with difficulty, "The space forbidden object was discovered by the recruits. One drone is enough to scare countless recruits." But now the instructor has used all the drones for a recruit. And this is all because the new recruits discovered their secret. It all started when Lin took a look at the moon. The moon should be at the horizon at 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. But now the moon is at its highest point overhead.